This is a video tutorial for the KBDeX Knowledge Building Discourse Explorer. This video guides a basic usage of the software in a few minutes. At first, in order to execute the software, we should move into the KBDeX folder. This is located in the folder which has the KBDeX installer. To open with Windows OS, we can double-click the kbdex.bat file. To open with Mac OS, we can double-click the kbdex.app file. This is the initial window of the KBDeX. Here is a list of the various data sources. There are two sample data sources at the initial state. We can choose and double-click one to open the data, and then the main window opens if our data is read normally. The top left window shows Discourse. This software can create various network visualizations by this discourse, but we should select words as a seed of networks before creating networks. We can click on the Word button to open the word selecting window. In the left column of this window, the current selected words are listed. The center column shows the frequency of words used in all discourse units. They are sorted by frequency. The right column shows the discourse. We can double-click the word election in the center column to select the word. The selected word is added to the left column, and the word is indicated in red in the center and the right column. We can double-click the selected word again to unselect the word. We can choose multiple words and right-click to select. We can also input the word into the left column directly. Then we should not forget to save. Press OK after finishing to select all words we want to use to create networks. Now we will come back to the main window. At first, we click the Go to the Last Discourse Unit button to create networks. 3 networks are created. Then we explain how the 3 networks are created in KBDeX by using PowerPoint slides. We use a simple strategy to create the network from discourse. First, we make a bipartite graph of notes and words. Second, we make a one-mode projection of the network for words. These words are all connected by lines if they are used by at least one same note. Then a network structure of words represents the co-occurrence within the same notes. Third, we make another one-mode projection for notes on the opposite side. These notes are all connected by lines if they share at least one selected word. Then a network structure of notes represents the co-occurrence of words. Fourth, we create another bipartite graph of notes and students. The lines show the connection between individual students sharing at least one selected word. Then the KBDeX shows these 3 networks in this layout. The top right window shows a student network. The bottom left window shows a discourse unit network. A note is one kind of discourse unit. The bottom right window shows a selected word network. Additionally, the thickness of the line between nodes represents the strength of the relationship. A feature of this software is that we can run through each discourse unit in an animated fashion and graphically see how each of these networks develops. We click the Reset button to reset the network. Next, we click the Step button to step forward a discourse, and then KBDeX shows networks which are created from the first to the current discourse unit. The highlighted discourse unit indicates the location of the current discourse unit. By using the Start button, we can continue to step automatically, and the speed of the animation is controlled by this slider. The left side is slow, whereas the right side is fast. If you want to create a network for a particular discourse unit, you should input the number of the unit in the text box and click the Go button. We add an explanation for the layout strategy of networks. In default setting, a circle layout is applied for a student network and a discourse unit network, and a Frugerman-Reingold layout is applied for a selected words network. The layout strategy for each network can be changed as we like. We can select another layout strategy in this box. We can scale the network to larger and smaller and press the center button to reset to default setting. You can apply the same way for the size of nodes. You can also customize a line shape from this menu. When you observe a particular network in a big canvas, you can resize the window and re-layout a network by clicking the Set button. You can press the Toronto button in order to reset the window's status to the default setting. We can also see interrelationships within the three networks. If we click to choose a particular student A1, discourse units created by A1 are highlighted in red in the discourse unit network, and the words the student A1 uses are also highlighted in red in the word network. Using a similar mechanism, if we choose one of the selected words in the word network, we can see in which discourse unit that word was used in the discourse unit network, as well as in which particular students used the same word in the student network. In the next section, we explain one more major feature of the KBDeX. It is the metrics function. At first, we introduce an easy word to observe metrics by using a preset perspective. We can click the BSL Word button to switch perspectives to observe metrics of a word network. The set of the four windows changes to: the bottom left window shows a selected word network. The top right window shows a line chart which indicates the summation of the degree centrality of the word network. The bottom right window shows a line chart which indicates the betweenness centralities for each node in the word network. Red vertical bars in the two charts indicate the current discourse. We reset the discourse and start animation. Then the bars move forward by increasing of the current discourse number. We can move the current discourse number by clicking or dragging the gauge part of the chart. We can also find which word is represented in a line chart by clicking a particular line. The perspective shown by clicking the BSL Unit button has the same function for a discourse unit network. Of course, KBDeX has a function to create your own chart too. In order to create a chart, you should select the Metrics menu. The Metrics window appears, and the window shows the kinds of metrics you can select in the activation pane. For example, we check a clustering coefficient and check average, and click the Chart button to create a chart for the average of clustering coefficient. We can also check clustering coefficient for nodes and click the Chart button to create a chart for clustering coefficient for all the nodes. We show the table view by clicking the Table button. The contents of the table can be copied and we can paste this to another application like Microsoft Excel. Lastly, we add an explanation of the property setting. We can open the property setting window by clicking the Prop button. The first property is language. We can select the language KBDeX should interpret for the discourse. The second property is unit of discourse unit. We can choose note or sentence for the discourse unit. The third property is for lifetime. For temporal evolution, users can specify a valid lifetime for discourse units. For example, if the lifetime is set to 20, only the 20 most recent discourse units would be valid, and other words and student relationships would not be displayed. This allows not only for examination of network evolution, but also a focus on localized trends.